Hello and welcome to this month's sales tip, the sales tip for May 2013. My name is Tim Royds and I'm director of Highclear, a company that provides both sales consultancy and sales training services both in the UK and internationally, but focus purely on the B2B sector. This month's tip, I'm going to start off by strangely asking you to keep your mind blank. Okay, absolutely blank. There's one thing I don't want you to see. Keep it blank, mind you, keep it blank. I don't want you to see, keep it blank, I don't want you to see a picture of an elephant. And I bet that blank mind isn't blank anymore. I bet that elephant's popped up there. Well, why is that? Well, it's to do with the way that your brain works. Of course, it's word association. Your brain is quite a complex machine, but in very simple terms, when you hear something, you read something, you see something, you smell something, your brain instantly cross-references that with everything that it associates it with. That's the way it works. So even though I'd ask you to keep your mind blank, and hopefully that's what you were trying to do, you hear the words picture and I tell you what, I bet that elephant's just popped up again, because your brain is now cross-referencing what I've just said with the experience you had a few moments ago. That's the way it works. But this has got pretty significant implications, you know, to the words that we choose to use, not only when we're communicating face to face, but when we're on the telephone, when we're writing documents, and that applies to both paper-based and e-based documents. Let me give you an example to explain exactly what I mean. You can turn around to a customer and say, well, you know, it should be ready by Friday. Now, what sort of picture does that put in the mind of the customer? A can-do attitude or a can't-do attitude? Do you know, you can deliver the same message. You can explain that it will be ready by Friday, but use just different words and put a different picture into the mind of the customer. How about instead saying, yeah, absolutely. Not only can we get it done, it'll be with you by Friday. It's the same message, but you know, potentially you're putting a very different picture in the mind of the customer. Let me give you another example. You know, you might be able to turn around to a customer at some stage and say, well, yeah, putting this together within that time frame is going to be quite tricky. What picture does that put in the mind? A can-do or a can't-do attitude? How about using different words to actually bring a different picture into the mind of the customer? You could say instead, yeah, it's a challenge, and you know, this is exactly the kind of challenge that we relish, and these are the challenges that really have shown how we're superior from the competition. Essentially, it's the same message, but you know, it puts a different picture in the mind of the customer. So here's this month's call to action. Please do think carefully about the words that you use when you're communicating with your prospects and customers. Remember the elephant thing. The words that you use will put a picture in the mind of the people who you're communicating with. What picture do you want up there? A can't do or a can do? I know which sort of salesperson I prefer. Look forward to seeing you next month.